Oh hi, welcome. I'm back to talk about books. It's only my second video and I'm already changing the format, but I need to not have the non-spoilery part in the video because I don't really know where the line is drawn between spoilers and non-spoilers. So we're just gonna have a spoiler warning for this entire video. Also, little disclaimer, I'm going to be very honest about my opinions about these books. I would love to hear your opinions as well. If you disagree, if you do not disagree, I would love to hear what you thought of this series. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get into the video. So, the first book. I think this is the original cover. I don't know if there's another one, but I'm pretty sure this is the original one. It has a little bit of foiling. It's pretty. I like it. I've heard some people compare it to The Night Circus, and I have finished The Night Circus recently. I don't understand where the comparison is coming from, because it's nothing alike. The only similarity is the fact that they are both happening at night. That's it. I'm gonna read the blurbs for the books and then we're going to get into my notes, because I have a lot of notes. A legendary competition, a mesmerizing romance, an unbreakable bond between two sisters. Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamt-of invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes enmeshed in a game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. Overall, I liked the idea of this book a lot. I think the plot was interesting. The idea of going through a game that's only a game, because I feel like in general books like this would make it real. It would have real consequences, but at the same time there are no stakes because it is a game. And I felt that throughout the entire book, and I guess I felt that because I knew that they were both fine, because I read Once Upon a Broken Heart first. But the idea itself I really liked. With the fake deaths, well, I guess the deaths are real, but they come back. So again, there are no real stakes in this book. It never felt like anything was actually happening. I had a theory while reading this book, and it was that the game was kind of putting Scarlet and Tella in the same place at the same time, so it was kind of a parallel reality, and they were searching for each other, but they were always together in the same place. They just didn't know because they couldn't see each other, and then at the end of the game they would reunite and figure out that they were the entire time at the same place. They just didn't know. So that was my theory. It didn't come to pass. That was not what was happening, but I would have found that interesting, even though I would have predicted it. The characters, however, I did not like. I liked Scarlet because I felt she was personally relatable. I liked her growth, her journey through overcoming her fears. However, again, I did not like the main love interest. Why is she falling in love in 5 days? Who is this? I don't see the chemistry between them, so I don't really buy the romance. She's 17, I guess, so it makes sense. Also, she's had a very difficult life, so again, it makes sense that she would latch on to the first man who gives her any sort of positive attention and who's kind to her. But even so, I believe that if she had met Dante first, she would have fallen for him. So I don't really believe the romance. I don't think these two are supposed to be together, because he's lying constantly to her. They are fighting constantly. I don't buy this romance. I don't know why these two are together. I understand Scarlet choosing to marry a complete stranger, because I feel like she's so desperate to get out of the situation that she's in. And I feel like even if the marriage leads to her still being unhappy, I think she really hopes that Tella would be free, and that it would really, really help her live her life, even if Scarlet never actually has a chance to be happy. So I understand why she would choose that. Again, it does add to me not believing that she actually likes Julian. Because Julian lies to Scarlet the entire time, it's very, very hard to root for them. I don't want them together. At the point where Scarlet is supposed to pay for the dresses with answers to questions. I'm very confused why she didn't just answer with her deepest desire being freedom, because I feel like that's what she would want. I think throughout the book, she's just desperately trying to escape her father, regardless of what that looks like. That's why she's open to marrying this complete stranger, because she just wants to escape. She doesn't really care about much beyond that. So I think freedom would be her deepest desire. I do not buy that it's Julian. You have just met, you do not love this man. At most, it's just infatuation. Also, freedom would be a clear, all-encompassing answer, because it would solve all of her issues. Her being free from her father, her being free from this arranged marriage that I'm sure she doesn't actually want, her being free from the responsibility of taking care of Tella constantly, because I think that puts a huge burden on her, even though she doesn't really talk about it. It makes sense why that's not her deepest desire, because I think deep down she kind of does not want the responsibility of constantly taking care of her and constantly having to sacrifice herself for her sister, which makes perfect sense. So I think that's why the answer doesn't work for her, and she loses those hours, well, the whole day of her life. I didn't really like the fact that there are no consequences for her father. He's absolutely horrible. This man has zero redeeming qualities, and he has no comeuppance at all. Not even a tiny little bit. He just kind of leaves and goes back to being horrible. Because it's not like he was just horrible to Scarlett and Tella. He was actually a bad man. So I don't like that she just lets him go back and terrorize people. Another character that there are no consequences for, Nicholas. There are no consequences for Nicholas in this book, despite him agreeing to sleep with Scarlett under the pressure of her father, and also the fact that he's not really Nicholas. Spoiler alert for the second book, I guess, but you know what you got into. The only reason he doesn't do that is because Scarlett has a potion, a protection potion. There's absolutely no indication that he wouldn't have done so otherwise. So I think this man needs consequences. Again, he just gets to walk free, not a care in this world. I think he's in the last book as well. Yeah, he's just fine. No one cared. No one really cares about these girls. Let's be honest. Not even the people who are supposedly in love with them. Yeah, some people are evil and don't get actual consequences, and that makes sense, because that happens. So I would understand, but at least have some consequences for some of these people. And these are humans too. So it would be very, very easy to have consequences for them. But there are none. But I think that's not really something that I'm gonna judge the books for. I don't include that as a minus in my rating, because that's just me not liking something. I don't judge the book itself for that. It's just something that I don't like. When Tella is choosing Casper, I was so mad. It drove me up the wall. I was constantly thinking, just leave her. Just let her choose. Let her make her own mistakes and learn the consequences for herself. And it's a good thing I don't have any siblings, because we're not dealing with that. Grandma Annalise, being the one for whom Legend gets his powers, even if it's not true, even if that's all made up, means that the game hasn't really been going on for that long. I was expecting this to have been a really, really ancient game, but no, it's happened. Probably it's been going on for 50 years, 50-ish years. Which is not as long as I thought it would be, but at the same time, why are these 70, 80-year-old men dating 16 and 17-year-olds? Why? Again, I'm gonna complain about the ages of these people. Why are they 17, 16, 17? If it's a YA is young adult. A 17-year-old is not a young adult. That is a child, that is a teenager. Young adults should be 18 plus. So I don't understand why this is considered YA. I suppose YA probably talks about the genre itself and not the characters. At least this has no spice. None of these books have spice. So I guess I can accept it, because I don't have to read uncomfortable things about 17-year-olds. But beyond that, I don't understand why they are so young. I would love to be told if most books like this have minors. as protagonists. Because I think I might just have to start looking up ages so I stay away from books like this. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal as long as there's no adult scenes with these characters. But even so, well, I didn't really mention this when I was talking about Once Upon a Broken Heart, but Jax is probably way older. He's probably in the hundreds years old, and he's dating a 17-year-old as well. And I need to know where the obsession is with this old man dating really young girls, and it's passed off as romance, because that's not romantic to me. I don't like that, and I need them to stop doing it in books because it's not cute. I've mentioned this in my previous video, but I really like the way this author describes their dresses. I think it's very in-depth. I don't think I've ever seen a book. I have read a few books since I've read this. I haven't read anything else where the description is so in-depth and so good about the dresses. She has so many creations. I would like to see a visual representation of all the dresses that she talks about, because I think they would be very pretty. I cannot visualize, so I don't know, but just from reading them I can kind of get a feeling, and I think that she might be creating some really pretty things. Speaking of dresses, Scarlett's magical dress, amazing. I would love that so much. Can you imagine? You would only need to buy one dress. My only gripe with it is that she never actually washes it. At least on page. We never hear anything about her even taking that dress off. I don't think she washes it, because this dress is anything, and I suppose it's magical, so it's kind of self-cleaning. I would still not trust it. This dress needs to be washed. Just wash it. You've been through so much, even though it's changing itself. That's not fun. It's not sanitary. Please wash this dress. After all of that, I gave this book 3 stars, but now that I'm talking about it and actually noticing how many things I did not like about it, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. I think that's a more appropriate rating, but it was still readable. I did consider DNFing, but I never actually seriously wanted to DNF it. As a book itself, I think this was probably my least favorite in both series. Yeah, it was still readable. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever read. I haven't read that much, but on to the next book, Legendary. Let's read the blurb first. A heart to protect, a debt to repay, a game to win. After being swept up in the magical world of Caraval, Donatella Dragna has finally escaped her father and saved her sister Scarlett from a disastrous arranged marriage. The girls should be celebrating, but Tella isn't yet free. She made a desperate bargain with a mysterious criminal, and what Tella owes him no one has ever been able to deliver. Caraval Master Legend's true name. The only chance of uncovering Legend's identity is to win Caraval, so Tella throws herself into the legendary competition once more and into the path of the murderous heir to the throne, a doomed love story, and a web of lies. What? And a web of secrets, including her sisters. Caraval has always demanded bravery, cunning, and sacrifice, but now the game is asking for more. If Tella can't fulfill her bargain and deliver Legend's name, she'll lose everything she cares about, maybe even her life. But if she wins, Legend and Caraval will be destroyed forever. So, I am genuinely split down the middle for this book. Because I hated the first part. I liked Tella as a protagonist because I think she's a stronger character than Scarlett is. So I liked her as a protagonist, but I did not like the first half of this book plot-wise. I thought it was very boring, and I consider DNF in this very often. It was a struggle to get through the first half, but I am glad that I did, because I really liked the second half. I think once the Fates actually become a threat, and the Undead Queen and her maidens, once they pop in, the book got a lot better because there were stakes. The first half, even though the game is real this time, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like there were any stakes at any point. I also didn't like Scarlett in this book. I don't understand why she was there. She wasn't really doing anything. She kind of felt just like an afterthought, just like a prop. Like she was there from time to time, just so we don't forget that she exists. But I kind of wish she wasn't. I kind of wish she was treated like Tella was in the first book, and she kind of just was somewhere else, being mayhaps kept hostage somewhere. I don't know. But I didn't like her appearances in this book because she doesn't really bring anything to the plot. So she's just there. I prefer Tella and Dante's romance. I think there's actual chemistry between them, even though they've only known each other, again, a few days. It feels like there's actual chemistry. It feels like they actually like each other. Again, Scarlett and Julian are constantly fighting throughout this book, so it makes it very hard to root for them. I don't want them together. When Dante is revealed to have black wings, it did not process in my brain that that was a tattoo. I thought this man was a fallen angel for the longest time. I don't know, my mind just didn't realize that we were talking about tattoos, even though it's explained a bunch of times that he is covered in tattoos. So, I don't know, my brain just didn't process that. Anyways, Jax. I didn't particularly like Jax in this book, but I did like him more than I did in his own story. I feel like he's much more interesting as a villain when he is actually a villain. With the Once Upon a Broken Heart books, I kind of felt like it was a romance, so I was expecting him to not really be a villain in the end. Whereas with this one, I didn't have that expectation, and I liked him a lot more, because I feel like he makes for a good villain. Also, it's never explained how Jax escaped the cards, unless I missed it. I don't know, maybe I checked out at some point and I missed it, but it's never explained as far as I know. And I kind of want to know, because it's curious to me that we don't know. However, I am very confused about why Tella was not on the guest list. It's never explained. Why wasn't she? Everyone else was on the guest list, and I don't buy that it was done intentionally, because Jax had no idea that Dante would kind of come up with that plot point, so it makes no sense that she was not on the guest list. So it feels like just convenient plot and nothing else to it. It doesn't feel like there's a point to it beyond just it happened because it needed to for the plot. Oh, also, again, Dante is upset over the situation that he created. None of these people understand that there are consequences to their actions. It feels like they're all always surprised that things are happening, but you made them happen. All of these people need to understand consequences and also need to leave these two girls alone, because they need to be alone and they need to figure themselves out. They're very young. They do not need romances at this age. They need peace and quiet. I liked Empress Celestine. I felt like she was very, very nice as a character and very interesting. I do wonder if Paradise was actually her daughter. The way she talks about her kind of reads like that. But I don't know, maybe she was just a friend that she had. But I liked the plot. Also, another point against Julian and Scarlett is the fact that Scarlett is choosing to give Nicholas another chance, which kind of makes it blatantly obvious that she does not like Julian. She's kind of just choosing him because he's the only option, the only real option. And once she learns that the Nicholas she met in the first book is an actual Nicholas, she's kind of immediately like, yes, I want to give that man a chance, because she does not like this man. She does not like Julian. I don't know why. It's endgame. It makes no sense to me, but yeah, I suppose that's all I have to say about this. Oh, the moral dilemma was a bit questionable to me, because our options are freeing these horrible godlike beings that actively torture humans and are just absolutely horrible, to free your mother who has left you with your abusive father and also has potentially sold you to the stars. So it makes no sense why this is a moral choice for her. I think even if there's a seed of doubt there that she might have done this all for a good cause, you're still considering freeing the fates who have destroyed everything, who will destroy everything, who will murder and make the lives of the entire planet, whatever this is, absolutely horrible. So I don't think that's justifiable from a moral perspective for me. After all, I gave this book 3.5 stars because I liked the second half a lot. I think the first half I would give it under 2 stars if I was to give it a rating just half, but I would give up to 4 stars to the second half, so that's why we're giving this 3.5 stars. Oh, actually, wait, no, 3.25. 3.25, not 3.5. 3.25. I think it's a good rating. So, finale. I'm gonna say finale. It seems like it's supposed to be finale to me, not finale. Who knows? A love worth fighting for, a dream worth dying for, an ending worth waiting for. It's been 2 months since the Fates were freed from a deck of cards, 2 months since Legend claimed the throne for his own, and 2 months since Stella discovered the boy she fell in love with doesn't really exist. With lives, empires, and hearts hanging in the balance, Stella must decide if she's going to trust Legend or a former enemy. After uncovering a secret that upends her life, Scarlet would need to do the impossible, and Legend has a choice to make that will forever change and define him. Caraval is over, but perhaps the greatest game of all has begun. There are no spectators this time, only those who will win, and those who will lose everything. So this book is by far the best one in both series. As far as I'm concerned, as soon as this started, I was hooked, I was interesting, I was sat down. Throughout the entire book, I was locked in. I absolutely loved this book. It's not perfect by any means, but I absolutely had so much fun with this book. It is by far the best one in both series. Both Stella and Scarlet are interesting characters. They both get fun storylines individually. I really, really like this. The romance is good in this. Not the ones we would expect. Jax and Tella, I think that's the best pairing in this entire series, in both this series. I think they have a lot of chemistry. I think Jax actually likes her. I think he likes her more than he does Evangeline, and I think he settled for Evangeline because I think he would have chosen Tella had he had a choice, but she doesn't like him. Again, I like him as a villain. Even though he's a villain throughout the entire book, I like him. To be fair, all of the love interests are villains in these books. There's not a single... Well, I suppose Nicholas could be, because when Scarlet finds out about his potential, he said that he could have the potential to be good. So in Caraval, Nicholas is described as neither truthful or good, but with the potential to be. We don't really get the chance to actually know what this means. Nicholas is competitive and likes dogs and gardening, and that's all we know about him. I don't think any of those are bad, so maybe the competitive part would have been a bit iffy. And his house is said to not be in great shape, but I don't think any of those things are bad. His servants seem to be okay as well, so I don't see why Nicholas was a bad choice despite everything. I need to go back on a point that I made for the first book. Did Legend date Tella's grandmother and then also date Tella? Or was he just in love with Annalise? I don't know, but if he did, that's weird. He's way too old for them. Yeah, I don't like this. Again. Also, I don't think Tella ever collects her prize for winning Caraval unless the prize is her asking Dante to steal her and take her on adventures, which makes sense. I would believe that. Some of the Jax lore, again, is different in this book compared to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I don't understand why he's known as the Prince of Hearts who kills girl. If he can arrest their death and kind of delay it, how do people know that he's the one who killed those girls? Because it seems like it's not instant. If these women just died later randomly, why is it connected to him? It is interesting that the brothers are first paired with the other sister, but end up with the other sister, I suppose. Julian and Tella would have never worked. I don't think Tella would have had the patience for this man, and I do like that there's no actual chemistry between them. There is a little bit of chemistry between Scarlet and Dante, but that's completely forgotten after the first book. So I do like that it's not questionable in that respect. I loved the game idea for Julian and Nicholas. I would have read a whole book just on that. I would have loved that. Make that the first book instead of Caraval, whatever we got. I would have loved that. That would have been very fun. The love triangles in book 2 are interesting. I don't really like Legend as a love interest. I don't know. I liked him as Dante in the second book. I no longer like him in this one. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think either of these brothers are good enough for the main girlies. I did really like the fact that Scarlet turned out to be the Falling Star's daughter, because I feel like it finally reveals what her superpower is about. I was expecting it to be resolved at some point. I was really hoping it was not gonna be just brushed off as something that's in there, but we never know what or why. So I am glad that it got explained in that way. I like that plot line. I like the fact that she gets to be the queen in that way. I don't know why these people just accept whomever comes up and says, I'm the heir, as truth. And they just let anyone rule them with no question. But I suppose that's how it goes in this world, and anyone can come and claim to be the new ruler, and no one's gonna bat an eye about it. So yeah, Jax calling Tella my love was more romantic than him with Evangeline the entire books. I don't know. I remember them having some very, very sweet moments. It's not like I hated the romance all throughout. It just feels like there's more with Tella. It feels like there's actual chemistry, which he didn't have with Evangeline, which is sad. It's sad because I feel like there could have been more to the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And I'm sad that we didn't really get that. Yeah, I said that I felt like Tella was Jack's true love the entire time. He just didn't really have a choice because she preferred Dante. I don't know for why. I don't know why she liked him more, but that's how it happens. Oh, I love the plot twist that Jax and Tella were married randomly. That was so funny to me. It was obviously not good to force that on her, but as a plot point in the book, it was very, very funny to me. I love that. That was hilarious, and it makes sense for his character. Like, he's someone who would do that 100%. Oh, I did have a problem with how easily the fallen star dies. I don't know, it felt like it was very anticlimactic. It didn't really feel like a battle. He just kind of dies all of a sudden. And I don't think the way he's killed would have worked either. So Julian has a moment in this that kind of just makes me like him, is the fact that he sews. That's a very cute plot point, and that's the point where I was kind of fine, I accept him. I guess there are no other men in this world for these two girls, so they're gonna have to stick with them. I'm gonna just close my eyes and pretend everything has been fine, even though they've been arguing for the entire series. I think there are some seeds planted about a potential third series in the same universe about Tella and Dante's daughter. I would not like to see that. I would much rather see Lala and Chaos have their own series. I'm so sick of Dante and Julian that I just do not want to see them, and I feel like they would appear in that series maybe a little bit, so it would be fine. But even so, I'm so sick of this man. Paradise being revived and killed off immediately was kind of strange. It seems like she was just there for more trauma for the girls, and just as a means to get rid of the fallen star without actually doing much to do so. Yeah, I think that's all. Overall, I did rate this book 4 stars. Loved the plot, loved the adventures that the people go on. Would I recommend this series? I am a maybe on whether I would recommend this series, because I really like this one, but you would have to go through the first and second book to get to this. And yes, the second book is half good, half bad, the other way around, but you would still have to get through them. And I don't know if a lot of people would have the patience to do that. What I've learned about myself through these 2 series is that I probably would like a standalone more because of the endings. The endings being left open-ended, I really didn't like that. Even though with this book, they're more interesting, but I feel like because I read them back to back, that was okay. But if I had to wait, I would not have liked that. I was kind of afraid that because I didn't really love the series, maybe I just don't like fantasy, romantasy. Is this romantasy? I don't know. I don't think that's true after I've read a bunch more books. I don't think that's particularly the case. It's just this series, these 2 series in particular, that I didn't really love. But I am looking forward to reading more and seeing if I just don't like, because if I don't like YA, then that's perfectly fine. There are a billion other books out there to read, so that's fine if I don't like them. But I'm gonna see once I get my Fairy Loot boxes, because I'm gonna read those and see if I change my mind about them. That's all. I'm rambling now. I'm gonna end this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear again your opinions down below about what you thought about the series. Both of these series, if you want to talk about them, if you haven't seen the previous one, you want to hear me talk about Once Upon a Broken Heart, the series, I'm gonna link that video. I don't know which direction this is. I've yet to learn all of that. Somewhere. I'm linking it up somewhere. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day or night ahead. Please subscribe, like, do all the things. It will really, really help me. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, whatever that is. Okay, bye.